Hey guys, welcome back to an episode of 12-inch Figure Fanatic. Remember to subscribe. Today we have got the fresh off the assembly line. I had it on pre-order. It is the Trick or Treat Studios Dr. Loomis from the Halloween film. Now this is technically the one from the first film because I forget it was the second one, or I don't know, one of them. He got a scar on his face, and I forgot how he got the scar. I'm not a fanatic with the genre, so I don't remember. But this is Dr. Loomis from the first film, which is my favorite. It came out in '78. I watch it every Halloween. It's a tradition for me. But let's crack this figure open and see what we got. We're also going to do a comparison with a figure that I've had for a while now that I had custom made. Let's take a look. Okay. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this will match up with my custom, because my custom is pretty damn good. So, box has a window. Oh, already I could see I don't like the trench coat. All right. Sorry. So it's got a picture in here of him. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. Now you can either ignore it or you can help me to stop it. And this is him talking to the sheriff, who was the father of one of the girls that got killed in the film. Yeah. And then a picture of him on the back here. So I think one of the most recognizable things about this film is the soundtrack. That one song, the theme song to the film, it's just very recognizable as soon as you hear it. I remember going to the Fright Fest at Six Flags when I was a kid, and they would always play this on loop in the park, and it would just freak me out. It added to the whole atmosphere of the whole thing. John Carpenter, of course, did the soundtrack, and he's done so many wonderful theme songs for films. Saw him live performing it once. All right, let's see here. Okay, so first off, the head sculpt is decent enough. Something seems a little off. Something about the nose. Maybe the nostrils are a little too pronounced. The paint job is very basic. Although Trick or Treat Studios, from my experience, it's kind of typical of them. They don't really do a lot of the they don't do the toothbrush speckle paint type techniques that Hot Toys is known for, to put the little colored freckles in there, if you will. He's got the tie on there. A little sloppy. I'll have to fix that. Brown suit underneath. It's not ironed, and I think it should be. If my memory serves me correctly, he had this creased, so that's another thing. But it is lined inside, as you can see. And yeah, like I noticed right away, the trench coat is a little off. So you can see it's slightly translucent. You can see the double material and the stitching areas. So it makes it look very cheap, that you could see through there on the back as well. The stitching and where it's placed is good enough. It's just the choice of materials there, I think. Yeah. And then, I don't know, a little cartoonish. We've come a long way in how we assemble clothes now for these scale figures, and they could just do a little bit of a better job. The style here of the material is a little reminiscent of early 2000s figures, their attempts at making the clothes. So this interesting. The sock is also sculpted in with the shoe. I don't think I've ever seen this before. Usually you would have the ankle go right into the shoe sculpt, but here they also have the sock sculpted. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, you're not going to really see it. It's not like you're going to have him sitting down with the ankle exposed, but that's kind of weird. The shoes aren't weathered at all. It's just sculpted, and I would add that maybe the sculpt looks a little off too. Like it goes, I don't know how to describe it. So it looks like it's not allowing enough room for the toes in the shoe. It's too flat up front here. So, yeah. Let's see what else we got here. So not too much, actually. You've got 2 extra hands, and then you've got this revolver, which is made out of plastic, and it does rotate. And does it cock back? No. That's it. It rotates. And it's not weathered at all. Well, slightly weathered. Yeah. It's detailed enough. And that's pretty much it. So let's set this figure up, do side by side with my custom, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so here's the 2 side by side. This one to the left is my custom, and then this is the Trick or Treat Studios version. As you can see, just comparing the 2 head sculpts, this one has a lot of the aging on the face. Maybe a little bit sloppier than it should be on the paint job, but even the sculpt itself is far superior to this one. This one isn't detailed enough in both the sculpt and the painting, I'm realizing. And like I said before, there's something a little bit off about the nose. If you look at the size of the nose and the nostrils, how pronounced they are, and then compare it to this one here, yeah, big difference. Now, the style of the coat is appropriate here. He didn't have this style of coat in the film. The stitching and style is closer to this one, but the color is closer to this one, to be accurate. This one's a little too light, and like I said, that translucence in the material, just not appropriate. The suit is also a little bit more of a higher quality on my custom than on the one that comes with the Trick or Treat version. Shoes, also more appropriate. Now, this has that fake pleather, so it's already starting to crack, the dreaded cracking of the old materials. Yeah, ugly. But look how tiny the feet are on this other one, because the sculpt is just so bad. So we got a bad head sculpt, we got a bad coat, and we got bad shoes. Now, what kind of score should this figure get? Let me just, before I give you the score, let me tell you that with all of the figures that you look at in my lineup of previous episodes, I typically end up either keeping the figure entirely or kind of doing a mix and match of some of the clothing or the head sculpt to make a perfect figure. In this case, I am putting this figure back in the box, and I'm going to try to unload it right away on eBay. I don't want anything to do with it. So my final score is going to be a 6.5. And I haven't given a figure this low of a score in a long time, but it's just missing the mark on too many different areas. The only thing, no, I was going to say the only thing they did right was the gun, but even that's a little cheap looking. So yeah, cut too many corners on this figure. It's going away. First figure that I'm getting rid of out of every figure I've ever reviewed. That's how bad it is. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoy my show, and do me a favor too. Message me or leave in the comments if there's anything that you would like me to do differently or add on to what I do. I have a unique style. I'm raw. Sometimes I'm a little rough. I don't candy coat things, but I also don't accept free figures from manufacturers or retailers because I don't want to be involved in any sort of perceived bias. There are some figure reviewers who shall remain nameless who have hookups for discounts on things, and I worry that that sways their opinion and that people don't realize that. That's not going to be the case with me. I had some attempts in the past, and I've turned them down. I keep it raw. And if there's anything else that you'd like to see, let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you again.